Hello everyone, this is Larissa Walrun for PIDP 3351 Feedback Strategies. This is my Module 1 lesson. Today we're going to talk about growth mindset for massage therapy. First, let's talk about our agenda for today. I'll go over our objectives, then there'll be a moment for stories and questions. After that, we'll do a learning activity where we can practice handshakes, mini massages, and then giving feed forward. After that, we'll have a discussion on the activity and then a quick summary. Okay, our objectives for this lesson. By the end of this lesson, learners should be able to describe and identify the aspects of a fixed growth and learner's mindset in the context of massage therapy, as well as the feed forward versus feedback concepts, and be able to apply those to their professional practice. Okay, let's take a moment and think about those clients who come into the office, into your treatment room with a really negative attitude. Let's say they've had an injury for a really long time. They've tried everything, chiropractic, physio, acupuncture, and nothing's worked. They come in and they think, okay, I guess I'll give it a shot, but I really don't think anything's ever going to change. I'm sure we've all had, as massage therapists, those clients that have that negative attitude. Now take a moment and think about clients who come in maybe with an injury, maybe just some chronic pain, and they tell you, I know you're going to help me. I'm really looking forward to this, and I know I'm going to feel better afterwards. These are the equivalents of a fixed and growth mindset in terms of massage therapy clients. I think it's really easy to see the comparison and the connection between these two mindsets. If you're going to have any kind of treatment, you know there's a potential that it won't work, but if you believe that it's going to work, you're much more likely to have a positive outcome. I've been practicing massage therapy for 17 years and I see it all the time. Clients who really truly believe that nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to help, are the ones that make no progress. Clients who are open-minded and truly believe that there's potential for change, those are the ones that have much better outcomes with their sessions. Now, I'd love to hear from you, but this is a recording. In the comments, if you can, please let me know if you can relate to this story. Let's take a moment to talk about learner's mindset. We've already gone over growth and fixed mindsets. We understand those concepts by now. However, the learner's mindset is an additional branch and expansion of the growth mindset. For me, it's about curiosity. It's about staying open to new ways of doing things. And for massage therapy, it's particularly about encouraging our clients to do the same and being open to their curiosity. My clients ask me questions that are so totally outside my scope all the time, but I take a moment and I think about my personal experience, what I think the answer might be, and sometimes the answer is I don't know, and that's okay. Staying curious is a really important part of being a lifelong learner, and I think it's really important to encourage and incorporate these concepts into your massage therapy practice. Okay, let's talk for a minute about feedback versus feed forward. As a massage therapist, I solicit feedback all the time from my clients about what I'm doing. Are you comfortable? How's the temperature? How's the pressure? It benefits the outcomes of the session. But if a client, like we were talking about before, has a bad attitude, I need to give them feed forward. I noticed you're thinking in terms of absolutes. If you want to get better, you need to understand the body is plastic and that you can change your body. If they don't have a growth mindset, it's unlikely that they're going to make much progress. So in terms of getting feedback, anything is fine, but in terms of giving feed forward as a massage therapist, I really need to think about the mental state of the client. Sometimes they might be depressed, and how to talk them through having more of a growth mindset and understanding the plasticity of the body so that they can have better outcomes with their sessions. Speaking simply, feed forward, you mention what's good and you talk about what could be better. So moving forward for our next activity, we're going to think about what could be good and what could be better when we practice our little handshake and our little mini massage. Okay, moving on to our activity. So if this were real life and I had actual participants, I would have everybody pair off and practice a handshake. And then just give some really simple feed forward on that handshake. If you've ever shook someone's hand, you know what it's like. Sometimes it's clammy, you can't help that. Sometimes it's kind of weak, sometimes it's too strong. So think about, okay, that was a good grip. You made eye contact, you landed your palm really well. But next time, think about changing your pressure, changing how much you're gripping and or how much eye contact you're giving or how long or how many shakes, something like that. Take turns giving each other feed forward so that you can get an idea of what that feels like. Okay, moving on to the next part of our activity. So again, in pairs, you can use the same partner or a different partner. Give just a quick 10-second massage. We're all massage therapists. We know how that works. Just quickly grab your partner's hand and give them just a quick little 10-second massage and trade. Let your partner massage you after you work on them. And then again, practice your feed forward. We're looking for positive aspects of the mini massage, really good pressure, really good contact. How did it feel? And if there's parts missing, like you covered my whole hand, or you focused too much on my thenar eminence and you skipped my fingers, things like that. So you can give, again, a positive, something you did well, and something to think about for next time. Okay, now it's time for a quick discussion. I'd like to hear from everyone about how it felt going through the process of giving and receiving feed forward and how it relates and compares to giving and receiving feedback. So we have this moment to reflect on what we've done, what we've learned, and whether or not we'll be able to and how we can possibly incorporate these concepts into our day-to-day practice. And of course, also the learning process. I know for myself, in preparation for this module, I had a client who had the bad attitude just a few days ago, and I was trying to talk to her in positive terms about, you're doing really well, you're going through a tough time, I see that you're struggling. Maybe you should talk to your doctor about your depression. And also, I want you to know that the body is plastic and you can change things. I understand it's been difficult, but if you do the stretches and if you do the work, you should see results. So I know it's hard sometimes when you have that client that really believes that they can't get better. All we can do is support them and give them those encouraging thoughts and words, and in ourselves know that that does work. I myself, I've been dealing with plantar fasciitis for the last year. I don't like to think about it. I don't like to overly obsess about it or describe it as being bad, but the fact is it's been persistent. I don't give up. I keep doing the stretches. I keep doing the self-care, and I truly believe that the tissue will remodel and eventually I'll stop having that pain. So if I can share that energy, that idea of plasticity with the body to my clients as a learner with my students, then I think that we'll all be a little bit more successful. So do take a moment and think about how you can use feed forward versus feedback in your practice and in your learning and teaching. Okay, so we've learned about fixed versus growth mindset. We've also learned about the learner's mindset. We've learned about feedback versus feed forward and how important it is to incorporate these ideas into our practice. If this were real, now would be the time for questions, and I would be open to any and all. Hopefully, people will be showing their curiosity and maybe sharing some stories about questions their clients have had. And also, I would like to see how people plan to incorporate these ideas into their practice. I know for me, having a curious population in my practice has been really, really common. I spend a lot of time answering questions that are quite frankly outside my scope as a massage therapist. Sometimes they're personal, sometimes they're political, sometimes they're scientific. I encourage all of it. I love discussing things that maybe I kind of know something about, but don't know that much about, things that I'm curious about. And so for me, that's how I embody a learner's mindset in my practice. And by embodying that, I encourage it, I accept it, and I create space for it to happen in my practice. And I hope you can too. So if there were any questions, please put them in the comments. I look forward to reading them. Thanks again, and we will click to the next slide and do our quick thank you and goodbye. Click to the next slide. Thank you so much again, everyone, for following along. And here are some of my resources, mostly from Dwayne Harapnik's blog, and which are all coming basically from the PIDP 3351 course content. These blog posts have a lot of great resources within them as well for all about fixed versus growth mindset and feedback versus feed forward. I highly recommend it. Thanks again for watching my video.